Alright guys, so for another review, we're going to be finally reviewing Cars, the Disney Pixar movie. And honestly, again, I thought I did a review on this, but overall I didn't. I really remember more of this one than I do 2 and 3, but I'll figure go ahead and do a review. And overall, again, I forgot how much this movie, pretty much just you know, erupted for a new generation because again you got talking cars, you got trucks, you got vehicles, RVs, you got all these different vehicles, and the main course character that's voiced by Owen Wilson, we got Lightning McQueen, who is a rookie, pretty much a NASCAR driver, right? And he's kind of a pompous, smart aleck type deal. And then as soon as he is trying to go to the Piston Cup to try to win, he unfortunately gets, his trucker, his that drives him everywhere, gets fallen asleep, and due to an accident he gets lost and he ends up in this one town. He messes it up, and then he has no choice but to stay there because they limit his gas, and he has to fix the road, he has to do all these other things. But then he slowly starts realizing that this town is kind of like a gym because so many people went through this town, but when they made the road, they just went through it, and he meets all these characters, Mater, Sally, Doc, and all these other ones. And come to find out, the one that's Doc, he was the Hudson Hornet. He was a legend in the Piston Cup, and then when he wrecked, it messed up his career and no one cared about him. And then when that happened, when Lightning McQueen finally goes back, he realizes that these people meant a lot more to him than what he initially thought, because he thought, like, one of the things that was hilarious, he's like, I'm in hillbilly hell, all these things, because, he was a kind of a city car, he wasn't a country car. And this was a kind of an awakening for him, to realize that the world was not just about him, about being the new face of Dynaco. And even his rival, even though he technically he wins, Lightning McQueen does the right thing by getting the older car that was going to win or try to win, and pushes him through the finish line. And that shows enough character by the owners of Dynaco to where he could have been the face of the new Dynaco, but he's not, because he chooses to go back to this town and spend his days with, his friends. And again, you got Larry the Cable Guy that does Mater, you got Cheech and Chong that voice characters in here, Cheech Marin, you got, all these ones, and then you got some other voice actors in here. And it's just a good little heart-filled movie, especially if you like cars. They got different types of cars in here. They got racing, they got comedy, drama, action, adventure, the works. So I will definitely say, this is probably Disney at its peak, when it was really coming up within Pixar, and it was, just a good movie. It was comical, and it had a good life, lesson at the end of it as well. So again, if you've never seen Cars, definitely check out the movie. I'm probably going to watch the other two at some point and do a review, but again, I got other videos in mind, and also something very important for you guys that I'm going to be putting out as well, and hopefully you guys can watch it and will understand what's going on with me. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you as always on the next one.